came to UNO in June of 2014. I served as the Director of Student Conduct and Community Standards, which the conduct world is something that I've worked in for, goodness, like 16 years now. Off and on, not steady all the way through, was that a primary role, but always in that time that's at least been part of what my responsibilities were at several other universities. So obviously every situation is unique as well. But really, my push is always, if I got to pick, every time we learn ultimately as an institution about one of those situations, it's going to start by the person who's been targeted or victimized speaking with one of our confidential informants. I'm not a confidential informant. How about a confidential advocate who's going to work with them? I'm not confidential once I have that information. Federal law requires me to do something with it. Now, that doesn't mean that the victim or target has to cooperate in our investigation, but we've got an obligation to the full university community. More often, my role is not an investigation, it's actually in the adjudication, so it's the decision-making phase of, did something happen that is a violation of our policy? And if so, what's the appropriate university response in terms of a sanction or a package of sanctions for the individual responsible that hopefully will help them to learn from the situation. The bigger piece, going back to the target of the victim and the support role that we play, is getting them connected with university or community resources. Sometimes people are more than welcome to engage, for example, counseling resources on campus, or maybe working with health services, but sometimes they say, I just don't want, or I can't even fathom the thought of somebody else on campus knowing that this has happened. So I want to engage with community resources, so we'll work to connect them with community resources. I think the best case scenario, whether somebody's hesitant or not to report that information, is to have them start with one of those confidential members of our team at the university. So whether you're working with somebody in the counseling center or you're working with somebody in our Gender and Sexuality Resource Center who've gone through that advocate training, so important for people to feel empowered, to know what the processes are that are available to them, to work towards some accountability or to some resolution. But also to understand that, there's nothing that requires you at the end of the day to come forward. It takes a lot to summon the courage to do it, but also for people just to know we've got incredible resources, amazing people who, all of us understand our job is basically to drop everything else that we're doing and focus on meeting the needs of the individual involved. While also, on my side of things, making sure that we're running a conduct process that's fair to everybody involved, that we're able to reach a reasonable resolution and to address the issue that's there, but ultimately making sure that we're able to support people.